Southern Utah up there as well. Eastern Kentucky had a successful season, so a lot of fun to be had during this season as we'll go ahead and take a look at our preseason all-conference offensive team. We'll name our preseason offensive player of the year. Kayvon Britton out of Tarleton State, the senior running back, was a first-team UAC all-conference last year, over 1,100 yards on the ground, and led the league in rushing touchdowns with 16. That was good for third in the FCS. He's a dynamic player, ready to get this ground game going for Tarleton State.
He really is, and the thing is, Tarleton State will bring back 10 of 11 starters this year on that offensive side. They have the chance to be really dynamic in what they do this season, and Britton's a guy that can do a lot of things. You know, you mentioned the rushing yards. He also had a couple of touchdowns, 11 catches through the air, and he's just a guy with great feet that makes a lot of great moves. He's exciting to watch, and, you know, behind an offensive line that has so much experience over the years, you can see why the coaches voted him in first place. It's not just him, it's that group in front of him as well.
Central Arkansas has Will McIlvain, who threw for nearly 2,500 yards last year, 24 touchdowns. He's an experienced QB that has a lot of returning weapons surrounding him.
He certainly does, and he's got a coach that knows. He's done it himself too, and Coach Brown, two of the best quarterbacks in that school's history. You know, you mentioned the 24 touchdowns, but only 5 interceptions. That says as much as the touchdowns do to me. He's a guy that got invited to be an instructor to the Archie Manning Academy this season. So, you know, if you get a call from Archie, you know you can sling it a little bit and spin it, as they say. But yeah, Central Arkansas, they can put up some numbers, and they've got a guy that's done it for a number of years and been really good for a long time.
We'll get a chance to hear from Will McIlvain as well today as we go ahead and look at the defensive all-conference team. The defensive player of the year, Edwin White Schultz from North Alabama, first-team All-UAC selection last year, transferred in from the University of Kansas and made his presence known. Led the league in tackles with 87, 49 solo for the Lions. He's a player that's going to be a menace to face.
Yeah, you know, it's not often that you see a defensive back as the preseason player of the year, but he is a guy that I think you saw the tackles. They list him as a defensive back, but he's kind of that star guy that moves around, and coach can really put him as a linebacker or put him in coverage. He's very flexible, and a lot of times what that does is it just gives offensive coaches nightmares because you got to identify where that guy's going to be on the field. He's going to be a really good player and one of many guys to watch on this defensive list.
David Walker, another highlight for Central Arkansas. Last year's UAC Defensive Player of the Year, 3-time All-American, 57 tackles, 18 tackles for loss on the year as well.
Yeah, I think he has, you know, it's sometimes in the voting, I think, you know, just like you might see at the NBA level or at the football level, you get tired of voting for Patrick Mahomes or LeBron James, right? David Walker's a guy, in the last 2 seasons, he's got over 20 sacks. You know, you could make an argument that he might have been that guy as well. So he's going to put pressure on the quarterback, and that's what defense is all about. If you can get to the QB, you can get a lot of things done, and Walker certainly has shown the ability to do that over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. Our preseason all-conference specialist teams, we have Patrick Nation for Eastern Kentucky, the kicker. Converted 31 extra points last year, nailed a 46-yarder to beat 16 Southeast Missouri State as time expired. He's shown he can be clutch in big-time moments.
Yeah, as you said, 19 to 25, those are good numbers. And for kickers, you know, you got to make those extra points. They're not real sexy. They don't really jump out, but you got to hit those extra points. Those come big, especially these days. And then clutch field goals are really big as well.
Delangelo Rosemont from Tarleton State also had the most kickoff return yardage in the UAC, had 2 kickoff returns for over 60 yards. He's also a key player for this Tarleton State Texans.
Yeah, he really is. He's a guy that can take it the distance any play. Had 4+ returns last year of over 50 yards. When he gets a chance to do it, you know, there's so many times when it's kicked out of bounds. These kickers are so good. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's dynamic. And I think he scares, you know, he scares special teams coaches for sure.
We'll get a chance to speak with a lot of these guys that were listed on our preseason all-conference teams. But first up is Tarleton State. We'll speak with head coach Todd Whitten in his 15th season at the helm of the Tarleton State Texans. A beautiful day in Texas as we welcome you back inside Texas Live in Arlington, Texas for the UAC Football Media Day. I'm Kendra Sheehan alongside Byron Anderson. We have our first school up in Tarleton State. And Byron, first, when you look at this team last year, 8-3, 4-2 in the UAC, lost just a 1-point game to Southern Utah, double overtime to Eastern Kentucky. 4 straight winning seasons in the reclassification period. What is head coach Todd Whitten dialing up here in Stephenville?
Well, he's doing something right. He's one of just, I think, 4 programs that have had a winning record during transition. So he's doing something right. The scary thing about this team is the end of the season that they had. They had a couple really close losses and some really close wins. But the end of the season, they really got rolling. And if they were able to make it to the playoffs last year, I think they would have, right? And I think they might have made some noise. So this is an exciting team to watch as we move forward.
And we'll start here with Coach Whitten. Finally, full-fledged Division I members, 4 straight seasons in the reclassification period. How have you been able to build such a successful program year in and year out in Stephenville?
Well, to start off, we've got a great university, great community. Football is really important to Tarleton, so a lot of things in our favor, I think, from that standpoint. If myself and our staff, if we've been good at anything, I think we've been good at picking players, and we've done a good job of evaluating, and I think to a certain degree, our background in Division II really helps us along those lines. And so, and in Division II, it's a lot more about evaluating and knowing what a good player looks like, not being afraid to take a guy. And so we have good players, and that's the reason we won 8 games last year. And so very good coaching staff. I'm so proud. Our coaching, we have very little turnover in our staff. We have very little turnover in our football team. And that's really, I think, that's something to say, I think, in this day and time. And so we lost 1 player on defense to the portal, to Oregon State, 1 player on offense, went to Nevada, and I really don't know if there was another one. And so, and I think that's a tribute to these guys, the family, the culture that we have, and so we sort of stick together, I think, and that's certainly been helpful as well.
Leighton, you was a season number 6 for you now at Tarleton State University. You've been around a minute.
Yes, sir.
And you've been through the whole reclassification process. What does it mean to you this year to have a chance to make it to the playoffs and extend your season?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's exciting. One of the big things for me when I came to Tarleton was being part of the reclassification. A lot of people were saying, you really want to go there, you're not going to be able to be eligible for 4 years. And it's been cool because I've been part of that process, every step of the way, and to finally see the end through, and this year have a chance at it, it's something that makes this season special.
Little did you know they wouldn't be able to get rid of you, right?
Right, exactly, yes, sir.
I think he started over 50 games for us in our offensive line, so a lot of really good experience there.
We also have Cassius Kearns, the redshirt junior defensive back as well. You're back with your 2nd year with the program. How do you compare this year's team to last year when you look at where you guys are at before the start of the season and before the start of summer ball?
But the main thing I would say is from the big difference is we have a lot of guys back. Like we're only missing, like he said, we lost 1 defensive player to the transfer portal, so I feel like we're experienced in that state. So I don't really feel like it's a big difference, but that's about it.
Coach, you won the inaugural UAC Coach of the Year, and there was a coach that had a better record. That doesn't happen a lot of times. That means to me, people thought a lot of what you did. What did it mean to get that first Coach of the Year?
Oh, well, anytime I think, you're able to get recognized, I think that's a good thing. Certainly I was proud of that, but more proud of our coaching staff. So many things go into having a good program. We have a robust commitment from our president and our athletic director. Got a great staff. I think we have a good salary structure in place for our staff, and I think that's one of the reasons that we're able to hang on to some guys. So they give that award to the head coach, but it's, there's a lot of folks that are involved in that, and so just so many really, really good people, players, coaches in our program, and I think that's how you win. You win with good folks.
Leighton, you guys have a chance to be playing in week 0 on ESPNU, a nationally televised game. Why will this team be ready to take the field and make some noise on August 24th?
Yeah, I think the big thing is I heard Byron say earlier, we got 10 of 11 guys on offense coming back, a lot of guys on defense. I think this team's as close as, a team I've ever been on, and it's just exciting. We get to play a week earlier, so we're looking forward to it.
What do you think about playing at 2:30 on August 24th? Might be hot in Texas.
It's going to be hot, yeah. It's better than no, I'm not going to say that. I'd rather play in Texas than Louisiana.
Okay.
Ask him what he thinks about going to practice in the morning at 8:30.
Yeah, going to practice and then probably getting ready. You guys practice probably to get ready for that. Coach, that is that week 0 game playing at, at 2:30 in Texas. That's a big deal. How will you prepare your guys for that?
Well, we're gonna. I was joking. We start camp in the morning. We report today, and then in the morning at 8:30 we'll be on the field for our first workout. But so we're gonna practice at 2:30. We're gonna scrimmage every Saturday. As we go through camp, we're gonna do it at 2:30, and I think that's a pretty good idea. And so hopefully that'll have us ready to go play.
Pickle juice.
Absolutely.
Coach, you mentioned not a lot of turnover on your coaching staff. Your OC, Adam Austin, earned some accolades this offseason. Dave Campbell's 40 under 40 in his first year as offensive coordinator. What made him so successful in leading the league in one of the top offensive schemes?
Adam's a really smart guy. He's been our quarterback coach, I think, for 4 years. And I sort of got to watch him grow up. He was the offensive coordinator as a really young guy over at Midwestern. And he was a play caller, and I thought they had a good balanced attack, and I thought he had a good feel for the game, and so when I had a chance to hire him, I jumped at that, and everything I thought that was true about Adam, is actually how it turned out, and so he's done a great job of recruiting. He's done a great job of buying into our program and getting in the middle of our culture and sort of speaking the same language, and so I think he is absolutely one of the brightest young guys out there in the business, and more importantly, just a really good person.
Cassius, a couple of days ago, you had a pretty big event, child number 2, July 18th. Tell us about your kiddos and about the new one you got that just came in.
Okay, so his name is Kosiah Azariah Kearns. He was born, July 18th. He was born 7 pounds and 9 ounces, 20 inches, so I'm excited,
Well, you got his 40 time, too? You already taking measurements.
Nah, I ain't got his 40 time yet, but hey, someday I will.
Cassius, with your 2 sons now, when you go out on the field, what do you want your sons to see when you're taking the field and playing the game of football?
I basically want them to see someone who just works hard and loves the game. I just want to go out there, have fun and support my brothers and my family on the field,
Has being a father changed the way that you approach the game?
Yeah, it does. I want to cherish every moment, breathe it in, just be present. That's really what I want to do.
I would like to also just say how proud I am of Cassius, the father, the husband, the way he tends to his family, and I know when on the 18th they were having the second son, his youngest son was in our office running laps around the field house, and so collectively our coaching staff sort of took care of him, and we were glad to do that. But just fabulous, beautiful young family.
Getting his 40 time.
Absolutely.
Leighton, you've played a lot of football, and when you look at the schedule that you guys have on tap for this year as full-fledged Division I members, you're hosting McNeese on national TV, and then you're playing at Baylor, at Houston Christian. What stands out when you look at this schedule and the toughness that you have ahead?
It's exciting. One game that stands out to me would probably be Austin Peay. just because we didn't get to play them last year. You know, I've got some friends that played out there, and you know, they won the conference, so you know that'll be exciting to go get to play them at their home field. So that's a big one that I'm looking forward to.
Coach Witten, TCU in the first year, they just went to the national championship when you played them. Texas Tech last year. You've said it this year to be Baylor. You said it. I've heard you say it a couple of times. You hadn't felt like you've put your best foot forward against some of those, Power 5 or bigger schools. How do you do a better job when you take on Baylor August 31st this year?
Well, I think we got a little better in 23 when we played Tech. Certainly didn't come close to winning that game. I didn't think we played very well at all our first outing against TCU. And so, that's one of those things as a coach that you got to talk about, I think, and you've got to stress. I think that's part of coaching. So that certainly is one of our goals. We have no idea how that game may play out, but I think we've got a good football team, and I just would like for our bunch to be in top form and to go and fire our best shot and see what that looks like.
When you look at the schedule, I mean, the last 5 games, right? You've got some pretty tough opponents: Austin Peay, Eastern Kentucky, West Georgia's new, but Abilene Christian, Central Arkansas. 3 of those 4 games are at home, but you're talking about the end of the season can really mean a lot. Is that something that you're going to be gearing up for, that last 5 games and that run at the end?
This will be my 20th year to be a head college football coach, and I can tell you, I know full well firsthand how hard it is to win a game. It's very difficult, and so everybody on our schedule to me looks really, really tough. I'm not just saying that. I think the UAC is a great conference, well coached. Every Saturday is just a true battle. And I know it sounds like coach speak, but we are absolutely not looking or worrying about anything but getting ready to play McNeese.
Coach, you've had 100 wins so far in your time in Tarleton, and you just received a contract extension through 2027. Why has Stephenville become your home?
It's a special place. I think I have one of the best coaching jobs in all of college football. I mean that. And so Stephenville sort of captures you. It's a football town. At the high school level, Stephenville High School, one of the great high school programs in our state. We've got our university community is really behind us. We have great support, great attendance, and it's just been really good to me and my family. And so, God willing, we're going to stay a few more years, and we just couldn't be more blessed. I'm very thankful for the opportunity that I have to coach these guys.
Coach Witten, you mentioned the conference and what you like about it. It's challenging. What do you like about the UAC as compared to other places you've coached and other conferences you've been in? Well,
spending a lot of time in the state of Texas, I enjoy. I think Eastern Kentucky is one of the most iconic FCS programs that's out there, and it's just a great place and a great campus and beautiful stadium with all of the championships that they've won there. And so I'm enjoying going to different places and learning about other parts of the country and taking our young men, and it's just very competitive, and whether it be going to North Alabama, Eastern Kentucky, we're going to get to go to Austin Peay this year. So I think that's really cool, and I think it's great for our players, and I just think I think we've got an outstanding conference, one of the best in the country, and maybe a little bit underrated, but I think we may surprise some folks this year as a conference.
Coach Witten, Leighton Casillas, thank you so much for joining us. Tarleton State opens at home on ESPN2 August 24th against McNeese. When we come back, North Alabama is up next.